As they stand for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing with Pastor Young, lead us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray.
Thank you, Lord, for giving us the season of Lent to renew our faith and draw us closer to you. We also thank you for giving us peace and grace so that we can gather here at this time. Help us remember that our daily lives are always by the grace of the Lord, and guide us to have a life of gratitude to the Lord. Tonight, we are here to discuss the business of our community together. Please protect and guide our meeting so that the Lord may be in our thoughts, wisdom, and perspectives, so that we can always carry out projects and events that provide fairness, convenience, and safety to the people of our community. In particular, may the Lord bless the village council members who serve our community, leading them to have better health all the time, and to protect and guide their homes and their businesses safely and peacefully. Let everything we share tonight, be in the interest and benefit of this community. Keep everyone satisfied, and may God's justice be with this community. Now it's time for this meeting to start. Please protect our thoughts and hearts so that this meeting can finish gracefully and peacefully. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Young. Lisa, whenever you're ready, you want to take roll, please?
James Isaacson,
Present.
Ed Gunner,
Present.
Glenn Newsom, here. Bill Brinsmaker,
Here.
Jerry Hayes,
Here.
Eric Rogers,
Here.
Timothy Waters,
Present. Thank you. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from February 27th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our February 27th, 2023 meeting as presented.
Support. Moved and supported. Thank you, gentlemen. Lisa?
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen, yes, Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes, that motion passes. Moving on to presentations and communication. Danielle, do you have anything for this section?
I do not.
Okay. So we can move on to approving the agenda for tonight.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Moved and supported. Lisa, please call the vote.
Gwen, yes, Jerry,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes, the motion carries. Public comment items on the agenda. All quiet in the house tonight? All right. Moving on to unfinished business now.
Yes, please. Danielle, just curious on the status of the library meeting.
I did email Bob and let him know that at the last council meeting, you guys had requested an update and said deferred to him and the board how they wanted to address that, and he let me know. And he did respond saying he sent it to the board, but I've not heard back since.
Okay, and do we know of the plan to be in attendance Wednesday?
I do know that some of them are planning, some of the board will be there. Yes, they did RSVP. I don't remember the exact number, but we do have representation from every board.
I think the majority are, from what I've heard, but I did see an email from Christine Barlow. She's not gonna be able-
Yeah, so. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Anything further? Bill? Tim?
No.
Eric? Jerry? Mike? No. Okay. Moving on to new business then. First agenda item, payroll.
Make a motion to approve the payroll register for February 2023 in an amount of $134,796.36.
Support.
Thank you. Moved and supported. Lisa, when you're ready.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
James,
Yes, that motion carries. Second item, approve a motion for accounts payable.
I had a couple questions that were not taken care of initially, but I'm glad to hear that it's on the calendar at this time.
Oh, the lease payment. So that's why there's a. Okay, that makes sense to me.
When you stated, Danielle, you responded to the question about the amount of refunds. And you stated Brandon has been working to update and close out the old accounts, all of which have different scenarios, understandably so. We are required to refund any credits on file to the individual, and that's why we're seeing some of those $4.10 or 11 cents, things of that nature. We have a lot of old accounts that have just been sitting there for years, which we've discussed in the past. I don't have any specific questions about that, but I was just curious if there was a number of those refunds at that time.
Yeah, so I know, and Brandon can probably speak for this better than myself, but I know he's been trying to go through those accounts as time permits, and he did several of them this last month, which is why I think you'll see that. And then it's one of those jobs that he doesn't do all the time, but as time's available, we'll slowly work on it here and there. So you'll probably see spurts where it'll increase and then drop back down until we get that finalized, and then it should balance out.
Do we have a time frame for that roughly of when that would be completed?
I would defer to Brandon on that. Do you have a time frame when you'll have the full review completed?
I do not, because like she was explaining, it's something I can do this year, like downtown. There's a lot of accounts, and
I know.
there's generated, if I remember correctly, there's sometimes numbers for,
Yes.
delinquents that I have to go through. And, I don't know how much those delinquents require refunds, like, I'll give you an example. So somebody's like, oh, I have $150 delinquent account balance on me, but they couldn't get it to passwords. Right here, it's $20. I have to refund that to password back to the account and then refund the credit. So it's not something I can just do. I have to look at the history of the account to see if they really should get that credit back.
And is it something, Brandon, that you work with the most outdated accounts first, and then you work with the most recent? It's a continual, it's gonna be continuous. It's gonna be never ending. Is that correct?
And it may, that's just a big answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel. Yes. That's all I had, James.
Okay. I think you're still waiting a motion. If no one has any other questions.
I do in the, I guess the credit card list under the Delta Air. There's a $16 charge for first Thursdays, which doesn't really make sense to me for Delta Air.
I'd have
I
to,
assume that's through the DDA, whatever the program is for the.
I'd have to look to see what that charge is for. I don't know off the top of my head. You said it's under Delta Air,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and the line item's a first Thursday line item, which obviously we're not flying anywhere for first Thursday, right?
Or $16. Yeah, I will look into that and let you guys know. I'm not sure. What that-
Maybe
I think it just got put under the wrong account line.
Should have just gone to a DDA account
Yeah.
for their travel to Boston.
On page 42.
It most likely goes to the event of first Thursday.
Right.
But not under the
Not Delta Air.
Delta, yeah.
Was that it, just the,
Yeah.
The one? okay, so with that in mind, that correction, still looking for a motion.
Make a motion to council approve accounts payable for the period of 2/15/2023 to 3/14/2023, the amount of $373,335.86.
I'll support.
Lisa,
Tim,
yes. Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes. The motion passes. Item number 3. Request designate Coach Lake Estates as a subcontractor regarding water shutoffs and turn-ons. Danielle, if you want to lead us in discussion.
Yes, so Mr. Rush is here as well, and I would definitely defer to him with any specific questions, but he did come to me asking to be able to present to you guys a request that he be made a subcontractor. So currently, just to give a little bit of additional information, with all of the properties, the trailers within Coach Light Estates, every month, if there's people who are past due and should have their water turned off, the list is emailed to Mr. Rupp, who then goes out and turns them off. And then as they come in and pay, we reach out to him, letting him know that they're now current and to turn the water back on. This is done because the trailer park is, it's owned by Coach Light and managed by them, so they take care of everything inside the park. So per our ordinance, we do charge a $90 turn on off fee or the 180 after hours. And Mr. Rupp is requesting that since he's doing the work and that fee was established to cover administrative costs here in the office and DPW time, he's requesting a portion of that could be, and how we do this exactly, we can work out those details, but maybe like he could bill us on a monthly basis and we would pay him. We do about 4 or 5 shutoffs a month, which sometimes varies. For example, when we in December, because of the holidays and our schedule, we skip the shutoffs that one month. So then that, unfortunately, the next month there's a little bit of an increase, but that's about the average. As far as the exact percentage or what you guys are negotiating, I would defer to you and him. I did let Mr. Rupp know that if you guys do this, my only very strong recommendation would be that we have the attorneys draft up a formal agreement. Just because I do think it's important to have it in writing instead of trying to remember, and then it's very clear what each of our responsibilities are. But otherwise, I'll turn it over to you if I missed anything or you have anything to add.
No, you did a good job of summarizing what it is. I sit here tonight, I'm going, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I was meeting with a few of you on the council going, you're not having us shut them off fast enough. And now with the people we have in place, we're getting them shut off quite quickly. And so that really is an improvement. However, that now instead of shutting off 2 or 3 times a year, like she said, it's more on a monthly basis. And I am glad you're charging a fee. I do not want the fee to go away. We need to keep these people paying it. But like she said, part of the administrative here at the office, part of it is the physical part going out. And like you treat everybody equal in the village, you're doing a good job of that. You're charging our residents $90. However, your public works department doesn't have to go turn it off. My manager does. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this? This is a low item. I mean, we've been talking months about this, and it's finally like, this is a good meeting, you know, to bring up the subject. I don't care if you want to do it on a percentage. So if the rate goes up, we go up. If the rate goes down, we go down. I don't care if you make it a flat fee. Just something along the way that shows that we are a subcontractor view, and by being a subcontractor, we can legally do this as well. There's a little bit of exposure from, I'm not sure how much it is, about going out and acting on your behalf without written authorization to act on your behalf. So there's a little bit of that to watch for too. I don't care if you just vote for me as a subcontractor and we work out the details. It isn't a huge item, okay? I'm not trying to make it a huge item, but there is getting to be more and more activity. And this last month, my manager, I think, got 5. And within an hour of turning them off, 3 of them had paid and needed them turned back on. And he's right in the middle of something, and trust me, when people pay their water, they're tracking us down, saying, get my water back on before she can even email us and call us. And it becomes very demanding that way. And so, part of the thing that we talked about is how fast do we need to do it? How slow can we do it about turning it off? Just work out some of the minor details that way. And that's really for us to work out.
At this time, Danielle, I'm assuming that the village collects the $90. And we also collect the 180, so nothing is going to Mr. Rupp at all.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And Mr. Rupp, have you ever given thought to increasing the cost of your units, the rental for your units out there to go ahead and make up for that increased workload of your manager?
No, because I would hate to increase everybody's when it's the same 6, 7 people, give or take a month or two. That's just not fair to the good people that are on automatic withdrawal paying it all the time so.
Where does the village's sort of property line or ownership end with the trailer park? Is it on 223? Is it up on the road? So that drive is a private drive, right? We don't plow that, we don't service that. The sidewalks are not ours. What about the water lines? Where does that end? Does that end up at 223 as well?
As far as I understand, there is a shut-off valve right when you enter into the mobile home park, okay? So does it there or that, or does it at our service building that sits behind the car wash at the meter?
So it's pretty close.
It's pretty close, yeah.
So after that, it's all owned by Mr.
Yes.
Russ
Correct.
And we take care of all the lines and all that, and
Right,
that,
so we
you know.
own the main and then to the shut off, and then everything after that would be coach lights.
Yeah, that we maintain,
Now, how does it work with meters?
That's just what I.
You own the meters,
We own the meters, we
You own the
service
meters.
the meters.
you own
We
the service meters, you bought those about 20-25 years ago, when you first came out with the base pay. Okay, that everybody needed to have a base pay based on their meters. And you sent us the bill 20-25 years ago, and we're like, we have 1 meter, this is what your contract reads. And then you came back and said, well, we need to have meters on all those homes. And I said, well, who pays for meters? And the village council says, we'll pay for the meter, you pay for the install. And that's how we agreed upon it. So now, I've been just recycling the meters. I have some break once in a while, but I still have enough on hand. But there for a while, when we first did it, every time I added a new home, because it was still in our expansion phase, then at the end of the month, I would turn in a meter bill and, they would reimburse us. Now, would they reimburse us the full amount? No, we use very expensive meters because we want to make sure the accuracy of everything. So we went ahead and at that time bought $90 meters, and your average is 70. You'd only reimburse us for the 70. Yeah. But it is the tenant's responsibility to keep them from freezing and breaking. And if they do freeze and break, then I do bill them. But I still have a few of your meters still on hand, so we're not short. But at some point, someday I may come back and go, okay, what's the policy now?
So just for clarification, you're only talking about like a delinquent account, turning it off, turning it on, not talking about the pulling the meter and reinstalling the meter like we discussed a few months back, where it has to go through the inspection, they have to pay the village the fee.
They do that, and then we pull the meter. That is so infrequent. I'm looking at what's that, once or twice a year.
Okay.
That happens. That's still a shut off. So if you say, we're paying you $30 or $40, well, we'll just call that a shut off. Yeah, if I pull the meter, I pull the meter.
All right.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
again, this is a low priority. We're not talking big bucks or anything, but it is becoming a little bigger of an issue, unfortunately.
Well, you've obviously done the updates, Danielle, regarding the fee structure every year. We kind of have a breakdown of what it would cost a DPW employee to go out and do that. We have that by the hour. I would say whatever the administration fee are, that's you guys doing the work to provide the billing, provide the shut off details, whatnot. I would say cut them whatever the DPW employee and truck wage would be. And that would be the easy offset.
That would be.
I mean, obviously, the administration is still a part of.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm nowhere asking for any of that.
And then I guess the only other question would be what you just tell us monthly, how many you do, or we just document that.
Well, usually Brandon sends me a shut off list, okay? And I try to, if it's an unusual name on the list, I try to personally, or my manager, Mike Noel, will try to personally contact him and go, do you know I'm coming in an hour to shut your water off? And, you know, if it's the same old, we just go do it, okay? But once in a while, there's an unusual name up there that we let them know that we're coming. And then they can quick get down here and pay for it before we get the actual shut off, avoid the $90. That's really what we do right now. But Brandon sends me that list. Then I respond to him, here's the ones that actually shut off. He now knows to collect the money. Okay? And sometimes the email comes at, 11 o'clock and I didn't check it again until 3. And so there's a time delay there, but
So if you guys are going to pay him, what I would propose and what would be easiest for like tracking and documentation for us and the auditors would be that he sent us an invoice. And I don't have a preference if that would be monthly or quarterly, and then we would write a check and put that in our accounts payable and process it that way. And then if you're looking at the fee, about 50% of that is for DPW time. Unless it's an after hours, then it's significantly more because we're covering their overtime cost. So I don't know.
you've never sent me an after hours one for a turn off.
Yeah.
And I don't know how after hours we can do a turn on. Yeah.
I think
Now,
it's
if there's a water break or anything like that and we do a turn off, they know to call us direct. We don't, that's no charge, nothing like that. If there's a problem, that's us as managers taking care of the problem. This is just strictly collection. So I don't know. Geez, never had anything like that.
If there's no objection from council, I'd prefer to have legal draft up something, some sort of agreement. Have Mr. Rupp added as a vendor, as a subcontractor, and then bring it back to us to approve.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Do we have any apartment buildings that are handling this the same way? And if we do extend a subcontractor, him as a subcontractor, are we required any sort of insurance?
Not as a subcontractor. I do think we'd have to potentially do it as. I guess I'm gonna have to talk to legal how we write that contractor up, because if they're like a contract employee, they'd have to 1099. But if it's like a contractor that we're hiring, then they wouldn't, and that would be.
And I would like to see the contract drawn up with Coachlight Estates Inc. That's gonna wipe out all those problems.
and
You're
our
hiring
attorneys-
our
yeah.
business.
They did
to
tell
do
me
it.
that it would have to be with Coach Lights. It won't be the village
Yeah.
and Dan, it'll be the village and Coach Lights.
And that takes care of all that. That really is the best way. And then my manager can go out and do it, or I can go out and do it because we're both employees of Coachlight Estate, so.
There's no reason to put this out for a bid because it's property, and so we can bypass all that as a municipality.
Right, it's their responsibility, so yeah, you would not bid this out.
No,
Could this lead though to other, just asking, could it lead to other things? And I think that's kind of, Jerry, you and I are thinking on that same thing. Example, here's an apartment complex and they have the person owns it. then they have their manager and they determine that they would like to go ahead and follow suit as Mr. Rupp is with Coach Light. And they say, well, I'd like to go ahead and do the same thing. And are we running ourselves into falling into that with other businesses, other rentals, things of that nature?
Yeah, I think you always potentially are doing that. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head another situation. And it could be, I mean, I think it'll depend on the circumstance, but absolutely, I think that's always a possibility.
So if someone were to choose the apartments, your apartments down there, and they say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing, I'd like to have the same opportunity. We would almost have to go ahead and, if we let one group go through it, we set that precedence. That,
I understand that. Just
Yeah.
keep in mind, please, that 1 in 7 households in the village of Blissfield are in our mobile home park. Somewhere around 1 in 7 to 1 in 8. You know, we're only about 1 in 10 citizens. You know, because we're smaller per household. But nobody compares to the size that we do. So, you know, like somebody might come and have, you know, we're talking 4 to 5 a month. They might be doing, you know, 1 every other month, you know, comparably. Yeah,
when they could still pick up on it,
they could still pick up on it.
and that's my concern is the precedence.
Well, then we have to consider the alternative is to no longer allow Mr. Rupp or his manager to do the shut offs and have DPW fully service the shut off.
But that gets complicated too, because it's not our property, it's not our system, so that's not.
It's okay with me. I'll give you written permission to come out and do it. I'd be happy for that. I mean, you guys walk on it to read the meters, you should be able to walk on it to shut it off. We'll even give you one of the tools.
We're not messing with the system. If we go in there and we break something on his system, now we're responsible for that. So we don't ever touch anybody else. Like, we would never go to a home and we shut off at the curb stop. Those trailers don't have individual curb stops.
No, they have them outside of the home. I don't go in the home, I shut them off, but yet they're still on our property.
Right. So if that's where it gets, like, our DPW shouldn't be shutting those off because it's not our system.
That's why I was suggesting, even though I understand where you're coming from, the increase in the cost of the fee, and I know it's sucky where the good have to pay for the bad. I know that, but that's sometimes called real life, even though it's not fair. That's where that position was coming from, or suggestion was coming from, even though it's not something we would relish, I know.
You spoke of number of households. How many units do you have? And I know it fluctuates a little
Yeah.
because you do have
We're
some.
doing right now, we've got about 180 tenants, we've got 6 or 7 on inventory. We've got 2, well, 1 came in, 1's supposed to come in after the frost was. I mean, yeah, you know, it's like you said, we're always fluctuating a little bit.
180 tenants or 180 houses?
180 houses with tenants, yeah, I don't count the number, yeah, like 300 people or something like that, yeah.
And this is, I would say, the trailer park is sort of the oddity. We generally run our lines up to either a main or up to a manifold where it breaks down, say in an apartment complex, River, Deer Run or whatever it is over there, I apologize, Riverside. And so we have the access to those mechanical rooms and whatnot. Each one's individually metered. The biggest struggle, I would say, is something like downtown, like Matt's building, where you have multiple units being fed by 1 or 2 services. And that's where it's critical that from here on out, as setting a precedent, that we say, okay, everybody has their individual meter and we maintain up to the meter. What's beyond that, again, is up to a private owner. And that's been my philosophy. If we go in there and break their lines, shut them on and off, not that we should, but then who's going to pay for that? I don't see why we wouldn't just have Mr. Rupp do the turning on and shutting off. And again, we stay off his property and off of his water lines.
Yeah, I don't know if this sets a precedent for something like an apartment building. We're hiring a service is what we're doing. We can choose not to hire that service on another piece of property, but this is a unique situation. That's why I asked where does our shut off stop, or where is the village's sort of legal right of way end, and it's up by the road. So at that point north, it's all owned by Coach Light Estates Inc. So, and this is an oddity, but
Is there a meter on the main coming into the park? So you know, if there's 700,000 gallons that goes through that main, there ought to be 700,000 gallons that are billed throughout the community of however many you have.
Yeah,
But I don't think that gets checked, but just, so there is a meter on the main.
I guess the only comparable would be talking about Riga. Obviously, we have our boat shut off for our pipeline ends out there in front of Smitty's place. So again, what happens when Riga customer gets shut off? The county goes out and does the shut offs and turns on for them, correct?
Yeah, they do their own.
So-
We send right up. So we send them their like master meter bill and then they bill their residents. So we don't collect directly from their residents. With Dan, we do collect directly from his.
Exactly. So again, we're just paying the subcontractor to do the work that whoever else would do in the long run anyway.
And I don't know if this is helpful, but if we say 5 shut-offs a month at a 50%, so $45, it'd be $225 a month or $2,700 a year.
that's well nice. I know I didn't average that last year, because we had months that we wouldn't even have any,
Yeah,
yeah. Or we'd have 1 or 2.
yeah, if he's an approved vendor with all the qualifications and bills us monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, biannually.
However you want it, I can do it.
I like James' idea, have the attorneys draw up a contract and bring it back and for approval.
if that's the route you guys want to go, I'm completely good with that, but it would help just if you'd make the motion as such, just that have to give direction to the attorneys to draft that up and we can get it drafted. We'll all talk to Dan and then we'll bring that back to you for final approval if you guys are good with that.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Motion, okay, so you make a motion to have the attorney draft up a contract between Coach Lettuce and Relative Blissfield for this as a subcontractor to turn off water and turn it on. I will support that.
Any other input?
I guess the only other solution would be something we probably don't even want to consider is accepting, you know, the lines, the system itself and the roads and whatnot, much like we did with Forty Circle back in the day. It was a private installation of all the material, that's infrastructure, and then the village accepted that from the condo association. And so I'm sure we don't want to get into.
I don't know how they convinced me to do that, and I'd love to figure that out and love to do it with you. That would make me happy. I'll plow my street, so.
Probably not getting gas tax repairs or whatnot for your streets.
No.
That's all based off, private rental rates.
Maybe a meeting in the future.
Oh, sign me up, sign me up.
Lisa, will you call the roll, please?
Jerry,
Yes.
Wen,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
James.
Yes, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Ridley.
Just one quick question, after we've agreed upon it, signing, do you still need me to come back to that meeting, or is it just formality?
I think it's a formality at that point.
Okay,
If you have any discussion, it'll probably be for the attorneys.
okay,
If we do in media, we'll just have you back. We'll on an invite.
thank you.
Or you're welcome to go.
Moving on, agenda item number 4, approve the purchase of landscaping materials and labor for the Blissfield Aquatic Center. Eric, you want to talk to us about this? Thank you.
First, welcome to the Hollis for this today. So, yeah, just based on our presentation here a month ago or a few weeks ago, we'd like to move forward with part of our first phase with the landscaping project. This was the lowest bidder, which is one Spiff, another is a local contractor who does good work. So we would like to, with your approval, move forward with this, and we'll be bringing you other things with our picnic area here next meeting or the meeting after that. So with your approval, we would like to move forward with this.
One question.
Yes.
He's gonna have this done before the pool opens.
Yes,
I guess so.
yeah, and another Spiff with this, he gives 1 year maintenance
Right.
agreement. The other one was like for the summer, basically, so.
Good.
So it's kind of a benefit also, you know. And we all know, I think we've all seen their work, and he does good work, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the landscaping labor and materials purchased for the aquatic center from Natural Landscaping and Lawn Care in the amount of $20,820.
Support that.
Moved and supported. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, I have a comment. Mrs. Holland,
Yes.
thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, we have talked about this, and Eric has shared this information with us several times. How generous of your family, of your mother. I know that there are plans to do something much more so than what we are doing currently at the time here with the board. But you would definitely be acknowledged for your generosity. Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Glenn, for those kind words. Lisa, if you want.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
James.
Yes. And Eric, thank you for all your hard work for this
Thank you guys.
project as well.
Thank you guys, and I'll be giving you updates and start dates and all that, for the upcoming meetings, so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 5, approve fiscal year 2023-2024 budget calendar. Budget, favorite thing.
We're always talking about it.
Danielle, I love the calendar. Thank you. I just think that puts everything right out there, very clear. We know what the expectations are. Seriously, it
Helps keep us on track.
does. It does. There's no, well, when is this gonna happen? When is that gonna happen? Or when did this happen? When did we do that? So thank you very much for organizing that.
Yeah, I appreciate the tool that this
Yes.
this is a good resource.
I'll make a motion, then we approve the fiscal year 2023-24 budget calendar as presented.
Support. Moved and supported to slow Eric. Lisa, go ahead.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
James.
Yes. Again, thank you, Daniel, for putting that together for us. Item number 7, resolution fiscal year 2022-2023 budget amendment for mechanical plumbing inspector education expenses.
I think you
Did one.
Did I moved over 6? Sorry. Backing up to number 6, approve village council goals and objectives for fiscal year 2023 and 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the village council goals as presented.
I'll support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or comments?
Same speech, just a different item, Danielle. Thank you so much for organizing all of our thoughts.
Yes.
That can be tough sometimes.
You're telling.
Well, I thought it was a good work, it was a good work section,
Yes.
so thank you for, to council for all the input and for Danielle for getting it down on paper and written form. So. Anything else? Lisa?
Gary,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes. That passes. Now on to agenda item number 7. Resolution amending the plumbing inspector education expenses.
I have a question.
Has the plumbing inspector submitted any other invoices during this time frame for like services rendered,
Yes, for inspections,
and just not for the training?
correct, yes.
I know I had talked a little bit with Danielle about this, but I didn't quite understand how someone could not bill us for several years. I didn't understand that, and I was just curious if I was comprehending the training dating back to 2019. So, the training was completed, I understand that, but I certainly would have expected the reimbursement, the payment to come a lot sooner than now. And I would certainly hope that would, if council pleasure is to go ahead and make that payment, because we do have to amend our budget, that the individual would be a little more timely on his paperwork this next time.
And a couple with that. We got receipts for that training.
I do, yes,
Okay.
I have,
Do we cross check them and make sure we haven't paid them in the past?
yes, I did do all of that.
Thank you.
I have quite a bit of documentation with each of them, so.
He may have just learned that too, that he could be reimbursed for those. I don't know the circumstance, but you know, if you learn that, okay, you know, if your work is gonna pay for some sort of continued education credit, obviously why not reach out, and try to get paid for that. That makes sense.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Well, if that was the case, I would like to see him state that
Yeah.
instead of saying it's because of COVID.
Matching expenses in the period they are incurred is fairly important for budgets and income statements. But with that being said, I think we do owe it.
The three invoices that he has there, Danielle, those are the invoices he submitted just recently? That you have in our packet?
Yes, I think, I believe I just attached the invoice, not all of the supporting documents. But yes.
That actually totals more than what you have here in the financial impact.
We have some money in the budget already. It's just, this will take us above and beyond, so that's where the increase is, just to cover the additional expenses. It's also split between plumbing and mechanical. So we pay him out of, because he does both inspections, but our budget for both his inspections and education lists out mechanical inspections and then plumbing.
We've talked with him about getting these in a little more quickly.
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
That'll be the only real comment. With that said, looking for a motion.
Motion to approve the resolution authorizing the budget amendment as presented.
Support. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? No, okay. Lisa?
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
James,
Yes. Motion carries. Item agenda number 8. Change order for wastewater treatment plant number 22. I think all we're doing here is granting an extension of time,
Yeah, correct.
no financial impact, and we've briefed Eagle on this.
Yes, Eagle did grant our second extension request through the end of July 31st of 23. USDA and Eagle have been made aware of this extension. This is until April 30th of 23. We are not wanting to give the contractor the full extension we received so that we can keep them focused and on task.
We have some target deadline. No.
Not a firm one. When we talked to the contractor, they were very, they were shooting for the end of March, but there's no way.
I bet it's 95% done,
That's just good. Probably still have money.
maybe 95.5.
Well, as long as we're not moving below that.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order number 22 for an extension of time only until April the 30th, 2023, and authorize the village administrator to execute all documents related to the change order on behalf of the governing body.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion, further discussion? Lisa?
Tim,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes. Passes. Agenda item number 9, approved wastewater treatment plant upgrade payment in the amount of $60,309.24.
This is for work completed. The engineers have reviewed this and agreed, as well as staff.
How many more of these payments are there? Do you know?
They usually bill every month, and it's billed for work and materials that we have on site and are completed. The pay app does, I don't know how many more exactly, but
We've got,
hopefully only a couple.
did I read this right? We've got $280,000 left. Is that right?
That's what
I
I
thought
read.
this was the man.
285 is the balance to finish, including retainage.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll move council approved contractors pay up number 24, the amount of $60,309.24 in connection with the village Blissfield wastewater treatment plant project upgrade.
Support. Moved and supported. Anybody have any further discussion? Miss Lisa?
Eric,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes. That motion also carries. Moving on to reports. Any question on any of the reports? Administrator, police, or treasurer? No? We'll open it up for council discussion.
One question, and I probably should have brought it up under old business. Is the main at the wastewater treatment plant repaired and the manhole set?
The manhole was set, they were on Friday finishing it up. I did not talk to them today, I was in meetings all day. So I can't tell you for sure, but I will touch base and let you know.
Thank you.
I know they were pretty close on Friday,
With the main and everything?
yes.
Okay. We have any idea what that's gonna cost? Since we're billing on,
I don't have that, I know that, Ken was monitoring all of that and they'll get all of that around and get it submitted to me. As soon as I get it, I'll share it with you all.
thank
And
you.
then that will come back to you for approval
Right,
as a change order based on the time and material.
thanks.
Would Ken have gone to, I guess, Denise or yourself if he thought there was some sort of discrepancy where it seems like they were dragging it out or stretching it out? Or, I mean, that was directed back to Pogemeyer as the sort of watchdog on that.
Yes,
Okay. And so they didn't really have any concerns or,
no, they did have concerns. They did share that with Denise, and the village both. And the contractor who then provided a letter, which I think I forwarded to you guys, if I remember correctly. Where they just basically said because of the weather, it took them longer than anticipated. So that'll be what's gonna happen now is that the contractor and the engineer will go back and forth. Because the contractor is our project manager and they're going to say, no, you are paid time and material for the work on this item. If you chose to go off and do something else, we're not paying that additional or doubling down on that fee.
okay.
Anything else for council discussion?
Yeah, I got a kind of an odd one with the social media people, $16,000, somebody stated they had a water bill for 16,000, was that a mystery, was that a typo, or was that a?
It was a typo. And yeah, we got that corrected. It's first thing Monday morning when we came in and I reached out to that resident, letting them know and apologizing. But we just, when we entered the read into the program, we accidentally typed an extra zero.
And no fees, nothing like that, no issues,
No,
fixing that, mitigating that, and then providing them the proper fill.
correct.
People are watching, so it's just.
Yeah, no, we corrected, like I said, first, because I think that came through on a Saturday or Sunday, maybe, I don't recall, it was a weekend. So first thing Monday, we addressed that, and I think I had called that resident. I'm gonna say it was before 9 AM with the corrected bill amount and had that taken care of.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else, Mike? No. Public comments, items not on the agenda? None? All right. Committee of the whole agenda preview. Anybody have anything to add? What do we, March? We don't have anything scheduled for March?
Yeah, it's that weird space anyway, that's the personnel.
Yeah, personnel policy.
Oh,
Sorry, I can't, I've tried to adjust.
I thought we had something in for every month, so.
We'll talk about the president.
Yeah, so March is personnel policy revisions. April's the planning commission, sustainability joint meeting, and then May is ARPA funds.
Okay.
Yes, so we will be here next week.
Oh, yeah, we're
Okay.
busy for the next couple months.
When we talk about ARPA funds, I know we've had a number of discussions regarding that, and I don't want to bring it up now, but. Anybody want to talk about the bridge at all when we talk about that, those ARPA funds, spending ARPA funds?
Which bridge are you referring to?
The pedestrian bridge closest to 223.
Yeah, so I do plan on bringing this back to you guys to talk about as well. The reason I don't have it on this agenda is because I'm trying to look into some alternate maybe funding possibilities.
Okay.
And then I will be bringing it back though, so that we can talk about how we want to move forward on that.
Okay. Okay, anything else for committee of the whole?
I think personal policy. I mean,
That'll be.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Just another big project. That has been out there and hopefully gonna come to fruition. I think that's wonderful. Wonderful.
I want to tag on to what James said real quick. If we have the money to replace that bridge, when could they put it in? Did they tell us that or did we ask them?
Well, we would have to bid it out.
Okay.
And then it would be timeline there. I don't think they specifically said when they would be able to do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just before we adjourn, then I want to just call attention to our varsity girls and the playoff run that they are on, and they play tomorrow night in Springport.
Yes.
Tip off is 7 o'clock. If you can be there, I highly suggest you make the commitment. They're quite the bunch to watch play, and this could be a run to a state title. So go team, I guess. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Other than that, I'll just ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Support. Moved and supported. Lisa, one more time.
Who supported that?
Thank you.
Gwen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
James?
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Next meeting, March 27th, 2023. Yeah.